Ladies and gentlemen, my name is TotalBiscuit. I have a replay I would really like to show you. It's very rare that I do team games. In fact, I almost always avoid them because I've never really been into it. But this is something that I did recently on DJWheat show by the name of Kings of Tin, along with Wacksteven. I am at Starcraft US in the orange trunks playing Terran to the west of this map, Queen's Nest, along with Wacksteven in the yellow playing Protoss, and DJWheat in the purple playing Zerg to the southwest, versus our opponents, Zeoth in the red trunks playing Protoss to the northeast, Hungry J to the east playing Zerg in the blue, and we also have in the light blue, or baby blue trunks, Badass Biatch, which is why he picked the manliest color he could possibly find. He is playing Terran. This was during our placements for 3v3. This is our final map against a team that was considered a Diamond League 3v3. So, thought this will make it a little bit interesting. And since we're on stream, we want to do something a little bit entertaining. As you can see, I'm going for the 11 refinery. I said, I'll break out the proxy Battlecruiser build. And I will do it against the Protoss player. And I will execute it successfully. Now, proxy Battlecruiser against a Protoss player doesn't make a huge amount of sense. There's a lot of reasons why it doesn't make a huge amount of sense, not least of which the fact that the Nexus cannon is exceedingly effective against battlecruisers in the base. So it would require a fairly significant commitment, and it would also require the cooperation of my teammates here. But that's okay. I can rely on them. Should be fine. Wacksteve with the scout coming in right there. And I'm going to try and execute this build as best as I can remember how to do it. That's the main concern. It's like, how do you do proxy BC again? I really actually can't remember. Such is the way of things. Got two gateways coming down here from Zeoth. Going to open up in a pretty defensive posture here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to proxy my starport over there. Going to make things really interesting. Okay, there's the full wall off going on. So, the factory coming down here. I'll need to take my second gas momentarily to make sure that everything works as expected. The build is difficult. It's a tricky build to pull off. It requires very specific execution. I'm waiting here so that I can go through to my orbital command. Makes more sense building another SCV at that time. And out goes my proxy SCV. This guy has to get through. He has to. Wacksteve is leading his opponent's SCV away from my path here, as you can see. Nice little bit of tactical players. Badass Biatch chases him. Also managed to dodge Hungry J there as well, and sneaking over into the corner. I now take my second gas on around 3 minutes 40. So I'm moving into position. Nice little place to hide it as far as I'm concerned. Very close to the opponent's base. No real reason for him to be there. However, unfortunately, Hungry J, as you can see, coming over with his Overlord. The most valuable of Overlords. This is one of those drift racing Overlords. As you can see, it's got the extra exhaust pipes on there. Pretty sure it's got a bit of nitro in there, a couple of Go Faster stripes, a sticker advertising power chips. Whatever the case, it scouts my proxy starport, which of course means that since it's shared vision, everyone sees the proxy starport. Oh no! That's not good. That's actually pretty bad. I have to wonder if Zeoth spotted it. Was he looking at it? Let's have a look at his vision. Well, he can see it, but he didn't seem to react to it in any way. So he's keeping an eye on things. He's still just building a bunch of zealots. Actually ends up looking at his opponent's base more so than anything else. At the end of the day, it's been scouted. Bad news. Very bad news. He knows it's here. Or is it? Where did it go? It's going over here. So I was kind of panicking in the chat, and I thought, oh, this is going to be really, really bad. He's actually going to see me. He's going to see the proxy, and it's not going to work at all. In the meantime, of course, at home, I am in the process of building myself a fusion core right at the back here. Does his pylon see it? No, it doesn't. Now, my plan, of course, here was, well, if they're going to scout it, what if I put it inside their base? They would never see that one coming. So I proxy the starport inside the Protoss base. Now, there is a slight delay here. This is actually not the fastest BC. I could have started it at 6 minutes 20 if I'd got this down earlier and put the tech lab down. Unfortunately, I had to move this. But I can start the proxy BC at about 6 minutes 20. As it stands, it's going to be 6 minutes 40. The BC begins at 6 minutes 40. He has no information whatsoever. Now, I'm walled off here. I've got some Marines. I've got a Hellion just to make sure nothing comes crashing down on me. Zeoth and Hungry J are all grouping up here. His Cyber Core is perhaps the latest Cyber Core one has ever seen because he basically went 4-gate Zealot pressure without Warp Gate, which is kind of White Rar-esque Brood War nonsense, but it didn't work out so well. Zeoth goes to scout and he's like, oh, this is strange. I knew that starport was there and it isn't there anymore. So he goes back home. Little does he expect that the starport is in his base. Indeed, he does not. So he's like, oh, alright, okay, it's not there. I'm going to join the attack. So Hungry J's there. Badass Biotch with all of his Marines. It's rocking and a-rolling. Those guys got a lot of pressure. They're going to apply it. Wacksteven attacking the rocks here. The biggest threat to him at present. And slowly but surely, the Battlecruiser continues. So they're currently sort of arsing around in the middle of the map here. I would assume they would have applied pressure a little bit earlier, and they're actually coming straight for me and Wacksteve, which is bad news. But you know what else is bad news? Proxy Battlecruiser! Yes, indeed. 8 minutes 15. The Proxy BC comes out. Could have been 8 minutes, maybe even before that, if I'd optimized the build a little bit more, but, well, fun times are going on. Zeoth, as you can imagine, is fully committed to the attack on Wacksteven right now. All of his Zealots can't actually get anywhere close because the roaches are in the way, but hey, there you go. He's currently ignoring me. The rest of us kind of rallying our forces together, preparing for an inevitable assault, and also, of course, waiting for DJWheat. As you can see, the entire worker line completely gutted. Zeoth down to 9 probes with 13 kills on the BC right here. Now moving on to try and chase the rest of them. So it turns out there are a couple of Artosis pylons here. This is a bad place to engage. Photon cannons do have a tendency to do quite a lot of damage. DJWheat with the Nidus play right into Badass Biotch's base, as you can see right there. Wacksteven taking a lot of damage. However, the BC is in place. I spot the Artosis pylon. Second one is coming down right there. So that should cover that, but that's going to shut down a couple of those gateways. I start to just knock out as much as I can with this Battlecruiser. And of course, what better than a second Battlecruiser? Unfortunately, I have been supply blocked for the past 2 minutes, but regardless. Uh-oh. Wacksteven's probes, of course, will be spotted. Wacksteven is effectively out of this game, which is a little bit unfortunate. If he can get away with a few of his probes, he can start rebuilding a different base and we can supply him, so that's always good. Land a mule down, and this Battlecruiser is continuing to work its way through pretty much everything that's thrown at it. Wacksteven trying to get away with as many of those as possible. I'm just waiting on the defense to make sure nothing happens, and in the meantime, Badass Biotch is basically dead. I do not believe he actually has... Oh, he has one worker, which is over here in the base of Hungry J, so he actually does have the ability to replenish. My mule is slowly but diligently fixing up this BC, which is currently gutting this entire Protoss base and leaving him unable to do a damn thing. He's got his probes lying around, but he doesn't have enough to build a nexus elsewhere, so that's a bit of a problem. In the meantime, the aggression comes in, getting off some good Hellion shots, but he is bringing an awful lot in right at me. Only one bunker. I should have got a few of those. Nice attack, though, by DJWheat. Crushes most of the Zealots here. Continuing Hellion hits. Great amount of damage being done. My SCVs are in the brawl here as well. My second Battlecruiser is about to come out. I'm still kind of gutting the Protoss base here to make sure he can't contribute. He's building all of these photon cannons around this one central point, which is not really helping him all that much. A Stalker thinks it's going to be lucky. It is, of course, highly mistaken as a second BC comes in. I am losing parts of my base, but it's okay. I have another command center down here. I can lift. I can get out of there, mining as much as I can. Get a siege tank out. Ultra-effective stutter step manages to do precisely nothing whatsoever. Roach is in the center of the mineral line now. And a second Battlecruiser. Now I'm going to move back and actually defend my base with them. So, what's the current situation? DJWheat's Nidus play. Guts. Everything. Funnily enough, there are very few players left on the field with more than 10 workers. Pretty standard 3v3 play going right here. I'm going to lift this up. Going to eventually lose my fusion core, but it's okay. I've got 2 more Battlecruisers. Hungry J trying to expand to the gold base. I decided, you know what, I'm not going to attack it. I need to clean up what's left of this so I can start rebuilding. Down goes my fusion core, but I do have this orbital command down at the bottom here that he doesn't know about. DJWheat sitting on 45 workers. Everyone else at about 2. DJWheat now finally moving to engage with those Mutalisks as they now pop out, and things are looking nice and rosy for us. Eventually this will, of course, die with the BCs now chasing it down as well. So what's Hungry J going to do? He's kind of the sole hope of the team right now. The Protoss player has very little going for him. He's not out of the game yet, but he's close. Badass Biotch has basically nothing whatsoever aside from that single base. Mutas continue to harass there, and now my 2 Battlecruisers are in the fray. One with 23 kills, one a mere recruit with only a single kill. Where's it going to go? Well, we're going to start applying pressure, of course. Why would we not? Funnily enough, the starport is actually still there. If I'd had my fusion core back up again, I could build more Battlecruisers, but I'm a little bit more focused on trying not to die horribly. Re-establishing just to go into Hellions and stuff like that. Trying to rebuild what I've got, which is not a huge amount. I have 6 probes. Not probes, SCVs, 2 Battlecruisers, and 2 mules. Absolutely bog standard. As you can see, it takes 2 BCs to take down a Zealot. You know what would have been nice is I've actually got upgrades for this thing. And then Badass Biatch engages. You know what would be a good idea? Stimmed Marines. No, it's a terrible idea. This never ever works. There's a clear mistake there, and I go to engage Badass Biatch and make sure that he isn't able to do anything while I repair with a mule down at the bottom here. And then we've got DJWheat assaulting the gold base up to the top, making sure that doesn't happen. Hungry J still with a reasonable force of units, but they're going to have to start to build units against what I currently have, which he's doing. He's building Mutalisks and Corruptors. Need to watch out for those. Corruptors do a lot of damage to Battlecruisers. I don't have any Yamato cannon either. In the meantime, I'm just building an awful lot of factories, focusing on micro and not mining at all. Because, of course, this is Diamond League 3v3, ladies and gentlemen. Hardcore stuff. My BCs will continue to contribute here. Now, you want to put on a bet as to how long these BCs actually live? Quite a while is the answer to that. I'll give you a clue. There we go. We'll see if you can figure it out. In the meantime, I really should have been building more Battlecruisers. Just rebuilding my fusion core would have been a great idea here, but I'm so focused on everything else. I actually have a bunch of idle workers there, which is pretty stupid. Now starting to actually get my reactors down so I can go into Hellions. My 2 Battlecruisers sort of rolling back now. We have pretty much eliminated Badass Biatch in every possible way. I like the fact that this single SCV is hiding below the Mutalisk cloud. That's nice. 2 SCVs, 1 building up to the top here. The Protoss is starting to re-establish itself, although not in a particularly strong way. Then we have this big engagement up to the top. My Battlecruisers are moving into position to support. With the Corruptors in here, this is a tough-ish fight for DJWheat, but he is 19 to, like, 1, so he is totally fine. The 3 Marines are so brave. We'll support from behind. Yeah, not for much longer, I'm afraid. Maneuvering the BCs into position. To this point, I really wish I had a Yamato cannon. Just want to point out, by the way, this all happened because of a successful proxy Battlecruiser in the Protoss base, but there you go. You know, I should play more team games because if ridiculous scenarios like this happen a lot, then, quite frankly, that's exactly what I want from Starcraft. Hungry J, currently sitting on 1 base. We took out his ninja expansion to the top. He's trying to expand up here. He is the only real threat remaining, however. Sitting on top of his macro quite nicely. Got a Banshee coming out here, just for the sake of it. Still haven't rebuilt my fusion core for whatever godforsaken reason. But I'm building a lot of Hellions, so everything will be just fine. Getting a little bit of a fast-moving ground army on that can support this slower-moving air army. 33 kills now on the Battlecruiser. Almost 40 in total. My Banshee gets eliminated by Corruptors in a sad day for mankind. And in the meantime, we still have a large force of mutas, and we still have those 2 Battlecruisers, which they currently do not have an answer to. 8 Corruptors and a single muta is not enough to kill 27 mutas and 2 BCs, as it turns out. That will actually never, ever happen. Badass Biatch losing the remaining of his everything. He is actually building. He does have 1 base left, which we haven't managed to scout yet, because Zeoth and Hungry J are defending it with everything they've got. My Battlecruiser sort of hanging around, making sure the Zelnaga Watchtower isn't taken. A vitally important keystone strategy to this game. In the meantime, now is time to engage, I think. There we go. Well, Hungry J's in a little bit of trouble. Wacksteven has actually re-established, if you can believe that. He did have a few probes left and some cash. I've re-established as well. I've re-expanded to my main, because that's what you do. Still have that gold base there, which I'm going to expand to. And I'm building an awful lot of Hellions. So my Hellion count currently sitting at a nice, pretty 15, which will move along with DJWheat's drones, because why not? And the Battlecruisers now moving into position, supported by every Mutalisk the Zerg Swarm has at its disposal, that being a total of 31. Engagement time, and the Nidus support coming in from the bottom there. And now fun times abound. These BCs have been alive the entire game, and it looks like there will not be a change in that particular set of circumstances. The Hellions move in. Hellions very good for taking out single spine crawlers, identifying the absolute best option available. I'm so worried about losing my Battlecruisers at this point, I don't even want to commit them, but there you go. Moving out of the range of those Corruptors right there, getting down a couple of repairs. The remaining forces of Zeoth are coming in to try and engage, but the Corruptors are taking heavy damage. Let's get the repairs going here. Uh-oh, this is not the place where you want to put that Battlecruiser. Thankfully, they're a little bit focused on something else, so that shouldn't be too big a problem. BCs are still a little bit tough, and we are able to smash through the remaining forces. Take a victorious game. Total kills on that Battlecruiser, 36. Lifespan. I believe it was built on the 8-minute mark. It is still alive to this very day. Isn't 3v3 hilarious? Things that would never happen anywhere else. The first and perhaps only circumstance of successful proxy Battlecruiser in the Protoss base. My name has been TotalBiscuit. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.